Beloved, listen to this truth. Strength is not something you find at the bottom of a bottle, the end of your bank account, or in the praise of people. Real strength, unshakable, unbreakable strength comes from only one place. It is not found in your own willpower alone, but in the one who formed you, who knows you, who called you by name before you ever took your first breath. We live in a world that tells you to look within for strength, to push through on your own, to pretend you are enough for every burden you carry. But the truth is, we were never made to do this alone. When you lean only on your own power, you will always find the limits of it. Your willpower runs dry, your confidence can break, your strength can fail when the storms get too fierce. Strength is often misunderstood in this world. Many believe it's measured by how much they can carry alone, how well they can hide their struggles, or how fiercely they can push through obstacles without asking for help. People wear their independence like a badge of honor, but beneath it, there is often exhaustion, fear, and a silent sense of isolation. True strength, however, does not come from pretending to be invincible or self-sufficient. It comes from knowing where your source really is and refusing to rely only on yourself when you were never meant to. There is nothing weak about admitting that you need help. There is power in knowing you cannot do it all by yourself and were never designed to. Too many people drain themselves dry trying to hold up every piece of their life with their own hands. They think they must fix every problem, mend every heartache, and answer every question alone. But the truth is that human strength has limits. It runs out, it wears thin, it breaks down when life becomes too heavy to carry. What you carry on your own can crush you if you never learn to lay it down and reach for a source greater than your own. True strength begins where pride ends. When you are willing to say, "I cannot do this alone," you open the door to the help that never runs dry. Imagine the relief of letting go of the need to control every outcome, the peace that fills your mind when you trust that you don't have to be the answer for every crisis, and the freedom that comes when you release the burden of trying to stand alone through every storm. There is strength waiting for you when you admit you need it. There is rest for the weary soul who dares to kneel instead of forcing themselves to stand tall when they're breaking inside. There is unshakable courage that fills you when you finally let go of pretending you are enough by yourself and take hold of the truth that you are never alone, never abandoned, never left to fight your battles without help. True strength does not shout to prove itself. It stands firm in quiet confidence that there is a greater power holding you steady. It is not loud pride. It is humble trust. It's the calm in the chaos, the peace in the storm, the unexplainable hope when everything around you says you should give up. It's the steady heartbeat of faith that keeps you moving forward when your own power would have failed long ago. This strength cannot be bought, earned, or manufactured through willpower alone. It flows to those who are willing to surrender their illusion of control and accept that there is a greater hand holding their life together. When you understand that real strength is not self-made but received, you stand taller, not because of who you are, but because of whose strength holds you up. You live lighter because you know you do not stand alone, and that is the strength this world can never steal. There is a hidden gift in weakness that many people miss because they spend so much time trying to hide it or fight against it. Most see weakness as something shameful, something that makes them less worthy or less capable. They fear admitting when they feel empty, tired, or not enough. But what if weakness isn't something to despise? What if the moments when you feel like you have nothing left are actually the moments when the greatest strength can be poured into your life? So often, it's when you finally reach the end of yourself that you discover a power that was always waiting to meet you right where you are. Weakness strips away illusions. It shows you that your own strength has limits. It humbles you enough to see that you were never meant to carry everything alone. In a world that shouts about self-reliance, weakness whispers the truth. You can't do it all. You can't always fix what's broken. You can't control what's out of your hands. And that whisper can be the beginning of real freedom, because when you see the limits of your own strength, you make room for a strength that has no limits. Think about the moments that shaped you most deeply. Were they the moments when everything was easy, when you had all the answers and felt fully in control? Or were they the times when you felt at the end of your rope, when the weight seemed too heavy, when you wondered how you would take the next step? Those moments that break your pride often build your faith. They teach you that when your own power runs out, you can lean into a power that never does. It's in weakness that you find a deeper kind of courage, the courage to ask for help, to trust in something beyond yourself, to believe that you don't have to stand on your own strength. It's in those humbling seasons that you see more clearly what truly matters and who you really are. You learn that your worth was never measured by how perfectly you hold it all together, but by how willing you are to trust when things fall apart. When you stop hiding your weakness, you break the lie that you have to be strong all the time to be worthy. Instead, you discover a strange kind of power that grows in the places you thought were your greatest liabilities. Where there was fear, there is now faith. Where there was exhaustion, there is now rest. Where there was despair, there is now hope that does not come from your own effort, but from the unending well of strength that flows to you when you are honest enough to say, "I can't, but I know I don't have to do this alone." This is the hidden miracle of weakness. It invites you to step aside so that a greater strength can stand where you can't. It's not about being helpless, but about knowing where real help comes from. And when you live like that, you find a courage that storms can't shake and a strength that no burden can break. One of the greatest lies people carry is the belief that they have to stand alone. The world glorifies the image of the lone warrior, the one who never asks for help, who never lets anyone see the struggle behind the smile, who faces every battle with grit and grit alone. But behind that image, so many suffer in silence, trying to hold together a life that feels too heavy to carry on their own. The truth is, we were never designed to stand alone. From the very beginning, people were created to walk together, to lean on each other, and above all, to lean on the one who never leaves their side. Trying to stand alone eventually drains even the strongest heart. Everyone hits moments when life feels too big. The storms come, relationships break, dreams crumble, and the weight of the unknown presses down. In those moments, it's not more willpower that's needed, it's the reminder that you're not carrying this burden alone. There is help greater than any problem, strength stronger than any storm, and peace deeper than any chaos. When you remember you're not alone, you find the courage to stand again, even when your own legs feel too weak. Being human means feeling the limits of your own strength. It means reaching places where your mind runs out of answers and your heart runs out of courage. But feeling empty does not mean you are abandoned. Feeling tired does not mean you are forgotten. Too many believe that struggle means they are on their own, but struggle is often where you learn you are held most closely. Sometimes it takes the storms to remind you who truly stands with you when the world turns away. There is a promise that no matter what comes, you do not stand alone. In the darkest nights, in the hardest battles, when you feel betrayed or left behind by people you trusted, you can still hold on to the truth that you are not forsaken. You have a companion who does not grow tired or turn away when you're weak. You have an ever-present source of help that does not waver with your emotions or depend on how strong you feel today. People often measure strength by independence, but real strength is knowing who you can depend on when your own strength runs dry. It's the quiet courage to say, "I don't have all the answers, but I know I'm not alone." It's the peace that whispers in the chaos, reminding you that no battle is fought by your power alone. Even when the path is hidden and the outcome uncertain, you have a hand that holds yours through every shadow and every sunrise. Standing alone is heavy, walking with the promise of help is light. When you truly grasp that you do not have to bear every burden by yourself, fear loses its grip, worry softens its hold. You lift your head, not because you are suddenly stronger on your own, but because you trust you're surrounded, supported, and seen. That unshakable truth frees you to keep moving forward, not alone, but always carried when you can't carry yourself. Every person, no matter how strong they seem, carries a burden of fear and worry at times. It might be fear of the future, fear of losing someone, fear of failing, or fear that no matter how hard they try, it will never be enough. These hidden fears quietly drain courage and cloud peace of mind, whispering doubts in the middle of the night and stealing the joy of the present moment. Too often, people accept these worries as just a part of life, something they must carry silently, hoping they can manage to balance it all on their own. But there is a way to trade that fear for something far stronger: trust. Trust is not pretending problems don't exist. It's choosing to believe they do not have the final word. It is not about ignoring worry, but about handing it over to a source stronger than you. Worry is heavy because it convinces you that you alone are responsible for fixing everything, for predicting what tomorrow will bring, for protecting yourself from every possible loss or failure. That kind of pressure will break even the strongest back. But trust breaks worry's hold because it shifts your eyes away from the burden and onto the one who can carry it for you. When worry knocks on the door, many answer it with more overthinking and restless nights. But imagine answering it with quiet faith instead. Imagine stopping the spiral of what-ifs by reminding yourself that you do not stand alone in this fight. Imagine trading the endless mental struggle for a steady peace that comes not from knowing every answer, but from knowing you are not responsible for every outcome. Releasing fear is not always easy, it's a daily choice. It is letting go of the need to control what is out of your hands and opening your hands to receive peace instead. It is replacing anxious thoughts with words of hope, choosing to speak trust out loud when your mind wants to replay worst-case scenarios. Sometimes it means whispering a quiet "I trust" when worry shouts its loudest lies. The more you practice this, the lighter you feel. Life's storms may not stop instantly, but you stand steadier through them. You find that fear loses its bite when you no longer feed it with your constant attention. You learn to spot worry early and deal with it before it grows. Each day you choose trust over fear. You strengthen a habit that becomes like armor for your mind and your heart. Fear wants to paralyze you, to keep you stuck where you are, but trust sets you free to move forward even when the path is not clear. It gives you courage to keep showing up, to keep doing the right thing even when the outcome is still unseen. It lifts the weight of tomorrow off your shoulders so you can actually live today. When you trade fear for faith, you step into a freedom that worry can never give you. And in that freedom, you find strength you didn't know you had, the strength to keep going, to keep believing, and to keep living with peace no matter what comes next. In conclusion, this speech is a powerful reminder that real strength is not found in trying to carry the weight of life alone or pretending to be unbreakable. It's found in the honest choice to lean on a source greater than yourself, to admit your weakness and watch it become the doorway for unshakable courage. It calls you to stop standing alone and start standing with the promise that you are never abandoned, never left to face your battles by your own power. By laying down fear and worry and trading them for trust and faith, you step into a freedom that lifts you above the storms that once overwhelmed you. This message invites you to live lighter, walk bolder, and keep your heart steady, knowing that the strength holding you up will never fail no matter what tomorrow brings.